Um, my name is Ralph Pincus. I am a member of the Board of License and Inspection Review, and am today serving as the acting chairperson, which I will repeat that in a minute because I have to make sure that our court reporter is ready to take down a record. He is. So once again, I am Ralph Pincus. I am the acting chair for today's Board of License and Inspection Review hearings. As I've noted, there is a court reporter present to hear these matters, to record what's being said in each appeal. There is also a recording being made of this Zoom hearing. We are on Zoom today. So that means that when one person is speaking, it is imperative, it is necessary that only that person speak. And if I or a member of the board asks not to be interrupted, we would appreciate your cooperation. Furthermore, these are in fact formal hearings, and we expect people to be standing or sitting in place when their hearing is being heard, matter is being heard. If they have to move around during the course of these hearings, because we have quite a number of hearings listed for today, please then take your view off the screen because the movement is disruptive. Similarly, please, you will be muted until your matter is heard. We did a number of preliminary matters in executive session. We have a substantial number of cases listed for hearing today, and it could take a while before we get to your case. So your patience is requested. You should note this because you may need to recharge if you're on a cell phone or an iPad or some device that needs charging. You should make sure that your device is being charged. Once again, these are hearings, and we expect you to conduct yourself in accordance with how you might behave, if that's the right word, at a formal court hearing, and be attired and appropriately seated for the presentation of your matter. I think I've covered every item. Did I forget anything, Mr. Members of the board or
moot matters?
Our administrator? So let me introduce myself again, Ralph Pincus, acting chair. I'll have the members of the board now introduce themselves.
I'm Steve Pettit, board member.
Roger S. Tennant, senior board member.
Beverly Penn, board member.
Ben Washington, board member.
Cortez Patton, board member.
Brian McSherry, board counsel.
Wade, board administrator. And Mr. Chair, just remind, if someone's matters moot, they can leave the hearing if they'd like.
Yes. If, as we go, what we will do administratively is go through a list of the cases. Many of them have been resolved prior to today's hearing. And if they are listed as moot or complied, that means we will not hear your case. It won't be necessary. If you don't understand what this means, on your notice is a telephone number for the board's administration, where Mr. Wade is the director. You should call that number and have them explain to you what's happened. We will not hear matters that are moot or complied. We may have continuance requests. We will hear from the city first with regard to any continuance requests or matters that they have administratively resolved. If you hear that your case has been resolved or continued, we again instruct you either to cooperate when we call your case and or call the board with the number that's listed on your notice. I hope you understand that. Having said all of that, who will be the initial representative of the city going over the case list?
Good afternoon, Mr. Pincus. This is Jim Kelly on behalf of the city.
Yes, sir.
So starting with number 4, HA 2023-1745, 816 North 4th Street, Store Space QR Philadelphia LP. There's an agreement for a city affirm with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
Very good. We'll note that as settled.
Number 5, 2023-1760, 1453 North Newkirk Street, Amina Oliver. That's a continuance request by the appellant that the city is not opposing.
Very good. Well, we didn't hear that in an administrative session, but we will mark, and I agree to the continuance.
Okay.
This is the first time this case is continued,
To
Mr.
my
Kelly?
understanding, it is, yes.
Okay.
Number 7, 2023-1805, 1515 Brandywine Street, Edward Wineline, moot.
Very good.
Number 11, HA 2023-3002, 5340 Pentridge Street, Tierra Woodson. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a $150 fine.
Excuse me, could you repeat that one for me, please?
Sure. Number 11, 5340 Pentridge Street, Tierra Woodson, agreement for a city affirm, a $150 fine.
All right,
Thank
we note that for the record.
Number 12, HA 2023-3068, 3478 Helen Street, Walter Lapidus, moot complied.
Very good.
Number 13, 2023-3086, 1420 North Allison Street, Anthony Brinson, an agreement for a city affirm with a $150 fine.
Has that agreement been forwarded to the board?
I would defer to my colleague, Ms. Carmody, on that. I believe that it has, though.
You said city affirmed, and how much is the fine?
$150.
Okay, I didn't have a record of the settlement.
Okay, I can follow up once I get through these.
Very good.
Number 14, 2023-3087, 709 Winton Street, Nephadia Riggs, moot.
Very good, moot for number 14.
Number 16, 2023-3112, 5025 Torsdale Avenue, Joseph Rios. That's an appellant's continuance request that the city is not opposing.
On that particular case, is the party that's the responsible party a corporation? To your knowledge, that seems to be information that's been provided to us.
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city. This is my matter, and the responsible party is a corporation.
And do they know that they need counsel?
I did have a discussion with Mr. Rios, the appellant, and I did inform him of the need for counsel. When I informed him, he expressed that he wouldn't be able to get counsel in time for today, at which point I did agree to continue the matter for today.
Well, I noticed this is an intent to cease. So do we have some issue of safety that's important here to deal with?
It's the department is okay to continue it as long as we can get it on a list in about 30 days.
Mr. Wade, you've heard that request.
Yes, I'll note it.
All right, we'll mark it continued.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Kelly. I hope you don't mind me interrupting. I'm acting today, so I march to my own beat, perhaps.
Not at all, not a problem. Number 17, 2023-3134, 2030 Conlin Street, BVH Group LLC, doing business as BVH Group LLC, moot complied.
Complied for number 17.
Number 18, 2023-3138, 1126 West Rockland Street, Joseph Vaincore, moot complied.
Very good. Moot complied.
Number 20, HA 2023-3160, 2014 South Garnet Street, Kimberly Tuscany. That was withdrawn by the appellant. No, withdrawn by agreement. I apologize.
Withdrawal request by agreement. Okay.
Number 21, 2023-3166, 2744 Mifflin Street, Erica Cicchini. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a $150 fine.
City affirmed $150 fine noted for number 21.
Mr.
Number-
Chair, I'd like to go back to
Yes.
number 20 if possible.
Yes, number 20.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understood. You said it was an agreement, then you said it was withdrawn.
An agreement to withdraw. There was not an agreement for a settlement agreement, but an agreement between the parties that the appeal would be withdrawn. So mark it withdrawn.
Thank you.
Number 22, 2023-3183, 115 West Thompson Street, Rebecca Johnson. That was withdrawn.
22 is withdrawn.
Yes.
Very good.
Number 23, 2023-3185, 9456 Woodbridge Road, Jonathan O. There was a request made by council for a continuance. The city is not opposing that.
I guess, is this a case where there was this is your case, is it not, Mr. Kelly?
It is, yes.
And is this a case where there was a zoning violation and they went and got the zoning and now they're trying to comply the rest of the violations? Is that correct?
That's correct.
So in fact, at the time that the LNI notice was issued, there's an issue as to whether or not the zoning violation should be or was in effect, and how we deal with the zoning violation?
I would hesitate to speak on it without council being present. But the city is not opposing their continuance request for today. The original violation was for a lack of a zoning permit, and it does seem as though they're on their way towards complying that violation at this point.
Is counsel present for the appellant? Mr. Elsey, I guess is his name. Mr.
Yes.
Elsey, are you present?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm present.
Do you understand the concern I'm raising?
I do. And just to briefly describe just put the situation in context, the previous owner applied for a zoning permit that was abandoned before selling it to the current owner. In order to resolve the situation due to the work that was done prior to his purchase, we couldn't quite pursue the same zoning appeal that he originally. Just to take a step back, he had applied for a 3-unit use of a 2-unit building, and then had not followed through on it. My client has reverted to a 2-unit use, but we had to seek a zoning variance to remove an interior parking space. That's been granted. In order to finalize the CO as a 2-unit, there's a little bit of work that needs to be done on the interior, and that is what we're currently submitting permits for.
Was there approval at the time the zoning violation notice was issued for a 2-unit building?
Yes.
So just so you understand, and I'm not necessarily calling you on the carpet for this, or Mr. Kelly, if that's the expression to use, our concern is that as a matter at the time a violation notice is issued and there are subsequent actions required, not only the zoning issue, but you've indicated a building permit and a certificate of occupancy, that this is clogging, in a sense, our caseload of cases we hear, because you're buying time to resolve these issues when in fact it's quite possible that at the time the violation or violation notices were issued, they were in fact valid. And our board is hearing whether or not a violation notice was appropriately issued at the time. That's what's being appealed. Now, we understand that the city also has an interest in getting properties into compliance and may or may not be interested in the financial consequences, which could be fines. So I guess at this point, we just would want to have the city on notice that when these kinds of bifurcated cases come up, we have some concern about whether the underlying issue being appealed should be considered at the time of the hearing and not continued. So under the circumstances, unless my board wants to have an executive session on this, I will agree to granting a continuance. Are we okay, board? The answer is yes, I presume.
Mr. Chair, I'm
So
good with
we'll agree to the continuance.
Thank you.
Is this for case number 23?
Yes, that was number 23.
The case number is HA 2023-003-185-9456 Woodbridge Road, Jonathan O. Continuance granted. Mr. Kelly.
So I go on to the, okay. Number 28, 2023-3231, 4324 Pine Street, Mamie Huntley Young, moot.
Very good.
Number 30, 2023-003-239, 5617 Woodland Avenue, Harold White, moot complied.
Noted.
Number 34, 2023-3258, 2070 Kingston Street, Aaron McLawn Jr. This is the city's continuance request due to inspector unavailability for today's hearing.
Is Mr. McLawn, Aaron McLawn present? Has there been a consultation with Mr. McLawn so that he's had an opportunity to know and agree?
Hi, Mr. Pincus. Caitlin Carmody on behalf of the city. This is my matter. I have communicated with the appellant. He was included on the email that I sent to the board I think last week, requesting the continuance. He is also on the call, but I believe he's only on his cell phone as he's having some trouble connecting to the video.
Is Mr. Aaron McLawn, can we hear from you?
Sir, hit *6 if you're using the phone to unmute.
I'm sorry, Ms. Terrell.
Oh, phone calls in have to hit *6 to unmute.
Mr. McLawn, did you hear that? Press *6 on your phone to unmute. Are you with us, sir? Well, you did email him, correct? And he acknowledged receipt of your email?
Correct.
So I don't know whether you're hearing me, Mr. McLawn. I don't see any lights on my screen indicating you're present. There you are.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to unmute myself.
Sounds like you're at a children's playground or something. Did you hear everything that was being said? Did you hear everything that was being said?
So sorry. I'm moving to a more quiet place. I didn't hear everything. Can you repeat it? I'm here now. Are you able to tell me now?
You are Aaron McLawn. Is that who I'm speaking with?
Yes.
All right. And the city has asked for a postponement, a continuance in this case. Do you agree with that?
I would not like to continue it.
Well, the city's asked for a continuance and notified you in advance that they're having difficulty getting a witness to testify. So we're inclined to grant this continuance request at this time. And as far as I
yes,
know,
have no-
it
if I-
involves a rental license, so it's not, it's not, is it, I don't know whether they've forbidden you from renting the property or whether you need to comply this. So that'll give you time if in fact there's been a violation to resolve the matter while the case has been postponed.
Okay, I'm not even sure of the matter, because I do have renter's license. I'm not even sure, and I'm not even renting the property out, so that's why I'm confused.
Then you need to speak with Ms. Carmody. If you received her email, you should speak with her and try to resolve the matter.
Okay, yeah, I was emailing back, but I just didn't know if I could resolve. This was like, I didn't know, this is my first time dealing with something like this, so I don't even know how to handle this or what to do, so.
Well, you did
But I
receive
do have a
an
renter's
email.
license.
You did receive an email from Ms. Carmody, is that correct?
Let me check. I'm trying to think of whoever's name I was speaking to.
Her name is
yes,
Caitlin Carmody. You did? All right, so you should be in
Yes.
contact with her. Maybe you can resolve this matter. In the meantime, we'll continue
Okay.
it. All right?
Okay, all right. So I'm able to resolve it with her. Like, do I
Well, you
show her
can
my
try to
renter's license?
resolve, you can try to resolve it with her, okay?
Okay, I have one more question. So is the fine against me, is it saying that I'm renting out my property? Because I still don't know what it actually is.
Mr. McGlone, we can discuss the matter after the continuance outside of the
All right.
hearing. We can discuss it later.
You should
Okay,
discuss
sounds
this
great.
with
I'll
Ms.
just-
Carmody, all right? Thank you.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Carmody. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you. The next case is number 35, 2023-3265, 152 West Dauphin Street, Ruslan Nikin, DBA REKR LLC. That's moot complied.
So noted.
The next case, 36, 2023-3277, 3521 Kensington Avenue, Diane Gittlemacher. That's actually going to be the same request as 34. That's the city's continuance request due to the inspector being unavailable. This is my case. I had contacted the appellant via email, the email that was on the appeal form about 2 weeks ago. Their son responded to the email, and I did inform him that they should still log on if possible, although I don't see them here.
Is there a Diane Gittlemacher or someone with the last name of Gittlemacher associated with the property at 3521 Kensington Avenue present on this call, on this hearing? You did notify them of the request and you did have communication with someone who said
that is correct. It was the son who responded, indicated that his mother is elderly and does not email routinely.
all right, we'll continue it and maybe you can resolve this matter.
Thank you. Number 37, 2023-3281, 7122 Tulip Street, Terrell Oglesby, moot.
37 is moot.
Number 38, 2023-3291, 4257 North Hicks Street, Yen Tran. That's an appellant continuance request that the city is not opposing.
Okay, we did have a note that there is a late appeal, but it's not of a substantial number of days. Just so you're aware, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you. I will note that.
And this is the first continuance in this matter, is that correct?
To my understanding, it is, although I'm admittedly not 100% sure.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Because we've had that's not an uncommon name, and we've had another party with the name Tran who's had several continuances.
Understood. Next case, number 40, 2023-3323, 626 East Ansbury Street, Wasif Khan, moot complied.
Number 40 is moot complied.
Number 41, 2023-3328, 509 North Pleasant Place, Bastry Bajo, moot.
41 is moot.
Number 43, 2023-3332, 3408 H Street, Angel Peguero, moot complied.
43 is moot complied.
46, 2023-3389, 2300 South Sixth Street, Tulin Ozturk, moot.
Number 46 is moot. Thank you.
Number 47, 2023-3390, 2300 South Sixth Street, Tulin Ozturk, moot.
So noted. 47 is moot.
Number 48, 2023-3406, 2037 Rittenhouse Square, Todd Baleson and Margaret Baleson. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a $75 fine.
So noted.
Number 49, 2023-3407, 1853 North Second Street, Iris Investment Properties LLC, moot.
49 is moot.
Number 51, 2023-3412, 7324 James Street, Levin Speckles, moot.
51 is moot.
Number 52, 2023-3417, 4509 North Mole Street, Barry Robinson, moot complied.
52 moot complied.
Number 53, 2023-3563, 160 Grape Street, Mary Page Welby, moot complied.
53 moot complied.
Number 54, 2023-3371, 1024 Waverly Street, Sukrit Goswami and Philip Groff, moot.
Moot. 54 is noted as moot.
Number 55, 2024-2258, 6901 Woodland Avenue. That's an appellant continuance request, which I believe was forwarded to the board. The city is not opposing.
Okay, I did see that came in quite a while ago, as I recall.
That is all that I have. I believe some of my colleagues may have other matters.
All right, so let's just, again, if anyone is present and heard their case or their name called or their property address called, all these cases are either marked as moot or moot complied, which means we won't hear them. And if you don't understand, then you should call the phone number listed on your notification of today's hearing. Similarly, if your case was continued, we won't be hearing the case today. So let us hear from Mr. Kelly's colleagues. I see hands raised. I'm going to start with the first hand on the left on my screen. Ms. Skiles.
Yes, good afternoon. I have an agreement. It was reached just before the hearing. I did forward it just a few minutes ago to Mr. Wade. It's for number 2 on the list, HA 2023-001703 for 2601 North Broad Street, Unit C3. The violation issued in this case, CF 2023-004943. All violations but one have been complied. The remaining violation is for the appellant to upload a fire alarm certificate. So we've come to an agreement to city affirm that violation with a 60-day stay of enforcement. And that has been memorialized and sent to the board with the appellant's signature as well as the city's.
How long is the stay?
60-day stay.
60-day stay. So noted.
Thank you.
Case number 2, by agreement. Anything further? No, not at the moment.
Nothing further for the moment. Thank you.
Mr. Ryder.
Good afternoon, members of the board. May it please the board, Leonard F. Reuter, Reuter, Senior Attorney for the city. I have several matters that can be taken off at least today's list. One or two questions about a couple. Number one on the list, HA 2022-004332 for 735 South 10th Street. Counsel for the appellant, Don Tancredi, and myself had several discussions about the matter, and we came to an agreement that the matter can be marked city affirmed with a 180-day stay of enforcement. The zoning is being obtained as well as other additional permits. So
we should note that there's an agreement. Is that what you're saying?
it can just be marked, yes, an agreement for city affirmed 180-day stay. Ms. Tancredi is unable to be here today, but if the board needs to, I can forward our emailed discussion.
Well, fine, you'll notify her. I will note in our file that we've marked this as an agreement with the city affirmed an 180-day stay.
Thank you. Number 6 on the list, HA 2023-001784 for 1622 to 24 Ridge Avenue. That is Candido's Mary Jane Lounge, Inc. They are represented by Mr. Robert Simmons. We determined actually just yesterday that this is a site violation notice that was issued for lack of a rental license. That property has actually been demolished by the city. It was demolished by the city a while back since this appeal was filed. And it's up to the board. I mean, we could consider the matter moot. Again, it's a site violation notice, which was, there was no rental license at the time the violation was issued. And again, their appeal doesn't dispute that. They're disputing why the violation wasn't issued. So I don't know if the board wants to go forward with this case on the list, or if it wants to mark it moot, but the property itself doesn't exist anymore, so there's no need now for a rental license. There's nothing there.
I get it.
I believe Mr. Simmons is here, though. I think I saw him. Oh, I saw him. Yes.
See, Mr. Simmons, Robert Simmons. I know a Robert Simmons as an attorney that I've known for many, many years, who I don't see. Robert Simmons, are you present?
Yes, I am.
You are not the same Mr. Simmons that I know. You're much younger. So under the circumstances, I don't know whether, I think it should be listed as moot at this point. Does anyone object? Mr. McSherry, I guess I would ask our counsel to chime in.
No objection, Mr. Chair.
I assume that's okay with you, Mr. Simmons, that it's marked moot. Mr. Reuters seems to be okay with that.
Yes, all right with me.
Okay, we'll mark the case number 1622-24 Ridge Avenue, Mary Jane Candido's Mary Jane Lounge, Inc. as moot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're excused unless you have another matter.
No, thank you. That
Thank you.
concludes my matters.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you. Thank the board as well.
Mr. Reuter.
Yes, number 9 on the list, HA 2023-002154, 1434 South Broad Street. I believe you should have received an email from appellant's counsel, Richard DeMarco, that they have withdrawn that appeal. I just want to confirm that.
I have a note and I have so noted that the appeal has been withdrawn.
Okay. I will go to two cases, number 26, that's HA 2023-003203 for 67 to 69 West Queen Lane. Appellant is Zenobia Ship. And also the next case, these are both involve the same violation. Number 27, HA 2023-003221, 67 West Queen Lane, appellant Mitchell Ellman. In that case, the second one, number 27, There's an attorney. The attorney is actually Ms. Rachel Pritzker, who is present. Mr. Einhorn was put down as the appellant's counsel on the original notice of appeal, but he is not, and we've all been in touch with him. He is not representing the appellant in this case, so that should be substituted with Ms. Pritzker's name. But Ms. Pritzker and I have agreed to continue the case. And the other thing, the Zenobia Ship, who's the appellant on number 26, the person going by the name Zenobia Ship, submitted that appeal on behalf of the tenant, which is a corporate entity, but they apparently are working with the owner to resolve the matter. So, and they were in all the emails and all have not indicated any objection to the continuing both of these cases. Ms. Pritzker is present.
Ms. Pritzker, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
Very good. Looks like you're down the shore, as they say.
Yes, I am.
My question on these two cases is, there appears that the violation notices were issued in June and the appeals were filed a bit late. Is there an explanation why the appeals were filed late?
I didn't handle those appeals as mentioned, so I can't speak for them. I'm just working to resolve the violations, so we've gotten pretty far on that, and that's why we're asking for the continuance, but I don't want to offer information that I don't know firsthand, Chairman.
So
Go ahead, Mr. Reuter.
yes, I believe, at least the way we agree, the underlying violations were not appealed, but the intent to cease, I believe, these are appeals from the intent to cease notices, not the underlying violations. So we're okay. These cases are being resolved. They actually got the zoning approval. So just a couple other matters that need to be resolved.
So if the underlying violations are not being appealed, what is the basis for appealing the intent to cease? Mr. Reuter, I guess I'll ask you that question.
We would typically say in a number of cases that if you appeal the intent to cease, but you don't appeal the underlying violation, it just means that you can't contest the violation, but you may be able to contest the basis for the city doing a cease operations. You could argue the city doesn't have authority to cease us for these types of violations or something like that. In this case, we're agreeing that we're not going to cease so long as they continue to make progress on the remaining issues, and actually they did obtain the variance from the zoning board on June 5th. The notice of decision has not been issued by the ZBA yet. So on that basis alone, I think we have to agree to continue the case. And again, we're not objecting to it. It's a joint request.
And is the property ceased until this matter is resolved, or is it still whatever they were doing? Are they continuing to do it?
Yes, I believe they're continuing to operate. This is not this involves a commercial tenant. They're doing some. It was back, as you may recall, some time ago when a variance was issued. Sometimes it was very specific that, like, say in one instance, like here, you can manufacture a certain type of product, and then so years later somebody else comes in and manufactures a different product that could trigger a violation. So that's basically what happened here. But there's no danger or safety issue at present. There are some things that they will likely need to get a new CO, but we don't anticipate there's any specific dangers to the public as a result of this. The cease was based primarily on the zoning issue, which has been resolved.
Well, again, Mr. Tennant, I think you were about to.
Mr. Reuter, are you saying that there was a proviso on the original zoning or the current? Sounds like on the original zoning.
No, I'm just saying that the change of use here wasn't like they went from a single family to a multifamily building or that kind of thing. It was literally a change in the type of products that were being produced at the location.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Mr. Chair.
again, we had a discussion in executive session before today's hearings, and we're concerned that if the appeal on a violation is untimely, then the violation stands. And therefore, there's an issue as to whether or not, and as you've tried to address it, whether or not whether or not there's a valid defense to the intent to cease. And I guess what we're saying is we'd like to make sure that if you or the city or an appellant is asking for a continuance, that there's a legitimate basis for the continuance, because there's a possibility or probability that the violation is in fact that wasn't appealed. Whether it's valid or not, it's too late. And again, we're continuing something for a later date when there may not be a substantive basis for the challenge.
And again, I don't disagree with that, Mr. Pincus, because yes, most of the time, I think it makes perfect sense that if there's really no contest to the violation, why not just have it marked, city affirmed and then stay enforcement if that's what we want to do. But again, I think in this instance, partly because there was a little confusion about the attorney representing the owner, but also because we had a tenant that was appealing separately. And again, just getting contacts and everything like that, it made more sense for us to just agree to the continuance, and with the hopes that this actually probably will be resolved before it gets back on a hearing list.
Well, that's fine. I'm just, as long as you and your colleagues are hearing what our concerns are.
Absolutely.
We don't object. We should let Miss Pritzker enjoy herself at the shore. It's a beautiful day, and we'll agree to continue these cases.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I have another one, number 39 HA 2023-003312. That's 7446 North 21st Street, Genera Franklin. That is moot complied.
Complied is for number 39.
Correct.
Okay.
And then number 50 HA 2023-003410, 6900 Cobbs Creek Parkway, 6900 Partnership LP. They are represented by an attorney, Mr. Louis Lipsky and Rachel Friedman, but that matter was moot complied actually as a result of an unrelated court matter. It was complied some time ago, actually. So
we should mark it moot complied.
Correct.
Very good. By my list, you can't have any more matters for us to consider. Is that correct?
I have none.
Very good.
Well, I have one, but that could just be called in due course.
Okay, very good. Mr. Cohen. Thank you, Mr. Hardy.
Afternoon. Thank you very much, Acting Chairman Pincus, members of the board. I'd like to call the board's attention to number 42 on the list, HA 2023-003329 for 4864 Lancaster Avenue. Appellant is David Williams, doing business as YP2 Tire Shop. Is there anyone here representing Mr. Williams or YP2 Tire?
Our records indicate this involves an LLC. Is that correct, Mr. Cohen?
I actually wanted to ask a clarifying question. There is a YP2 Tire Shop Incorporated that is registered as a corporate entity in Pennsylvania. It wasn't clear fully on the appeal form whether that is the entity that's performing operations here without a license and without permits. I was hoping that
you called their names. You called Mr. Williams' name, and you called
and they did reach out to me earlier today over email, and I told them that they would need to be here, or a representative of the corporate entity would need to be here to present something to the board, which is why I'm asking one last time if anyone on behalf of David Williams or YP2 Tire Shop is here.
I don't hear a response, Mr. Cohen. Should we then call the case in order? And
we can call the case in order then. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anything else on your, that you're asking for?
Oh, no, it was just to clarify whether the appellant was a corporate entity and then to find out if the corporate entity needed an attorney. If the entity or no one representing the entity is even here, we'll just call it in the ordinary course.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anything else? That's it?
That's it for me.
All right, I see Miss Paschal.
Good afternoon, Chairman Pincus. I just wanted to call the board's attention to number 29. That is moot complied.
The moment 29, that's HA 2023-003-234, 4832 Cedar Avenue, Lana Craig.
That is correct.
That's moot complied. It has on our list an Eric Carroll as attorney. Is Eric Carroll present? All right, we'll note it as moot complied.
Thank you.
Anything further?
No.
Anyone else from the city? I guess we're ready to hear, let's go over any administrative matters that have come to our attention. The first case being, I believe, case number 3. Who's representing the city in case number 3?
Good afternoon, Kristen Patchell for the city.
That's HA 2023-001-734, 4600 Linmore Avenue. The primary appellant is listed as Quetta, if I'm saying that correctly, Jefferson. Is anyone present for either Quetta, Jefferson, or we have a note that the West Shore Civic Association is the actual appellant in this matter. Is anyone present on case number 3, 4600 Linmore Avenue? Not hearing an answer, I guess I should make sure Mr. Wade calls it, as that is his role.
This is case number 3, hearing appeal ending 1734, 4600 Linmore Avenue, Quetta Jefferson. Ms. Jefferson stated 1365 South Marco Street as her address. Notice of this hearing was sent to 1365 South Marco Street on 5/23/2024.
So it was sent to the address on the appeal and it was sent timely.
Yes.
Very good. So Ms. Paschal?
Yes, Chairman Pincus, the city would ask for a city affirmed due to appellant non-appearance.
City affirmed. Let us take a vote of the board. My vote is city affirmed, non-appearance by the appellant.
Mr. Chairman, the time is 1:56 p.m. My vote is city affirmed.
Thank you, Mr. Pettit.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed, non-appearance.
Very good. Next matter I have is case number 8. Is that correct? I think Mr. McSherry called that to our attention as to who the proper party should be on this appeal. Is that correct, Mr. McSherry?
Yes, that is.
Do we have anyone present on case? Well, I'll have Mr. Wade call the case.
Case number 8, hearing appeal ending 1952. 2001 East Lehigh Avenue. Jerome Henry is the listed appellant. Jerome Henry's listed address is 4257 North 16th Street. Notice of this hearing was sent to 4257 North 16th Street for the original hearing date of April 23rd, was sent to that address on March 4th, 2024, continued for council to today. Notice was also sent to 4257 North 16th Street on May 30th, 2024, as well as sent to Joel's Tire Shop, 2000 East Lehigh Avenue on 5/30/2024.
So notice was sent for each of these hearings to the address listed and there's no one present who called the case. Anyone present for either Jerome Henry or Joel's Tire Shop, 2001 East Lehigh Avenue? Anyone present? Mr. Pettit, in your role as Vice Chairman, what is the time that you show? You're muted.
1:58 PM.
I will call the vote at 1:58 PM. My vote is city affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed, non-appearance.
Very good, 6-0. The next case I have notes on is, do I have a note? Yes, I do. Case number 19. Case number 19. Would you call number 19, Mr. Wade?
Case number 19, hearing appeal ending 3141, 217 North 52nd Street, Alonzo Roberts.
Thank you. Leonard F. Reuter for the city of Philadelphia.
Is Mr. Alonzo Roberts present or Carla Watson? Either one present.
Yes, I am, sir.
I see an Alonzo Roberts. Are you able to open your video?
No, I cannot, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, but I guess first I'd like you to confirm that your name is indeed Alonzo Roberts, and please explain your relationship to the property at 217 North 52nd Street. Are you Alonzo Roberts?
Yes, I am Alonzo Roberts. Years ago, around 2000 or so, I started renting the property from Carla Watson. Since then, she said she had to leave the state, and she left the property in my hands, and I've been paying the bills and the real estate taxes since then.
So you're the tenant in the property and Miss Watson is the legal owner? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Ms. Watson is the legal owner. But like
Who's
I said, I rented from her years ago.
Hold
Once
on a
she
moment,
left-
hold on a moment, Mr. Roberts. Who's representing the city in this matter?
I am Leonard Reuter.
Mr. Reuter, are you aware of any of this?
Yes, actually, this was the other matter that I mentioned. You could call in due course because it was the same concern that we had. Mr. Roberts isn't the owner of the property. This was a violation notice that was issued for not having a current vacant property license. He's claims to be a tenant. We don't have any evidence of that. But in any case, unlike certain violations where the tenant can correct it or not correct it or whatever, it's the violation in this case was a site violation notice issued to the property owner. So we don't believe that Mr. Roberts has any can bring this appeal. It's not the type of violation like, like say a commercial tenant might have a right to remedy a violation or something like that. So it was our position that he is not the proper appellant in the case. And to the extent that he's, again, that the violation was issued to the property owner, he also can't represent the property owner in this matter. So that would be an additional problem there. He can't act as an attorney and can't act as the owner's attorney in this case. And again, it was just a site violation notice. This was.
All right, so let me do this. I think we wouldn't hear the case anyhow if we don't have a video for the appellant. But let me ask I think go to an executive session briefly and go over whether or not we should even continue the case or just dismiss it based on the fact that the appellant appears not to have standing to file this appeal. Let's go to an executive session, please. We'll be back. We'll take a 5-minute break. It is 2:03. We'll be back by 2:08 p.m. Mr. Kelly. Are we ready to resume, Mr. Kelly? Very good. All right, so Mr. Roberts, under the circumstances, okay, Mr. Roberts, under the circumstances, you don't have standing to appeal, and is Mr. Reuter, I guess he's there.
I'm here.
It is our opinion that you do not have standing to appeal this case because you're the tenant and the violation is one that the owner has to satisfy. So under the circumstance, we're going to mark your appeal dismissed. We're going to dismiss your appeal and ask you, do you have an address for the owner, Carla Watson? Do you have contact information for her that you can provide to Mr. Reuter at this time?
Well, that was part of my story, sir, that I did not relay to you, is that I've been out of contact with Ms. Watson for years. That's why I took on responsibility of making sure that the taxes were paid and things were done to the property. I have not seen or heard of her for years. The last time I spoke to her, she said that she had a family matter that she had to take care of and she had to move out of the state.
Well, Mr. Roberts, under the circumstances, I guess the question is, perhaps you need to, and I don't know your circumstances, you can talk with Mr. Reuter. I don't know if you have his contact information. He can supply it to you. You may need an attorney to represent you on how to resolve this matter as to ownership and who's responsible for the property. Do you have Mr. Reuter's contact information?
No, I don't. And this is a matter regarding whether or not the structure is vacant. I'm here.
Well, I understand, but we're not going to hear that issue today because whether or not it's vacant is not an issue you have any that you can be held. Well, that's an issue as to whether you can be held responsible. We're dismissing the appeal presently. Do you have you have a cell phone? Do you have a telephone or an email address by which Mr. Reuter can get in touch with you? And if you do you have, I guess he's on a phone. He doesn't have, he can't go to chat. So how do we?
I don't know if he can't go to chat. I did put my email address in the chat.
No, I don't. Just have your telephone number and I'll call you later.
I would rather just do this by email so we have a written record. Presumably your email address is on the notice of appeal, so I will send you an email. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sure.
All right, this matter, case number 19 is marked dismissed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chairman.
Oh, and if I could just, on the record, we did have an inspector for the case. Inspector Brett McDonald, and if he may be released so that he can go about his business.
That would be fine. I don't see him on my screen, but
sure.
Mr. McDonald, you're dismissed. If
Thank
you're
you.
here. I skipped case number 15.
Thank you.
Could you call that, Mr. Wade?
Case number 15, hearing appeal 3090-4304 Market Street. Atif Karushan.
Is Mr. I'm going to spell that last name, K-H-U-R-S-H-A-N, Kirshen, for 4304 Market Street. Is he present or someone here involved with that property? I see, is someone here regarding the property at 4304 Market Street? Is there counsel from the city here on this property?
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city for this matter.
Well, I don't hear a response. So under the circumstances, Ms. Skiles?
Mr. Mr. Pincus, I do have the appeal. It did say it has 4304, and that's the listed address. It was scribbled out. 4302 is where this notice was sent, the address of the actual property. He does list here as his address as 43. Oh, I'm sorry. His listed address is 4302 Market Street. Notice that this hearing was sent to 4302 Market Street on May 30th, 2024. Sorry about that.
No, all right, so if I understand you correctly, the subject property of this appeal is 4304 Market Street, but the address listed for the appellant on the appeal is 4302 Market Street, and that's the address to which a notice was sent.
Yes.
Timely.
Yes.
Okay, what is your request, Ms. Skiles?
Yes, as no one has appeared this afternoon, we would ask for a city affirm for non-appearance.
And Mr. Pettit, do you have the time?
2:13 p.m.
2:13 p.m. My vote is city affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirms non-appearance.
Very good. City affirmed 6-0. Let's see if I have a note on any other case. I do. Case number 31. Is someone, Mr. Wade, would you call case number 31?
Case number 31, hearing appeal ending 3247 719 Sampson Street. Anthony Backos, doing business as Nicholas Backos.
And who is the city council in this matter?
I am Leonard Reuter for the city of Philadelphia.
Mr. Reuter, you're omnipresent today.
Mm.
Do we have anyone present for 719 Sansom Street? Mr. either Anthony Backos or Nicholas Backos? Or any other entity related to that property? Have you had any communications with the parties on this, Mr. Reuter?
I have not.
Have you endeavored to do so?
No, not in this matter. We have his notice of appeal, or whoever is the actual appellant, the notice of appeal, which includes documents. We have determined what permits have been obtained and which haven't been, but we haven't had a reason to contact him.
There's no one here, as we've called the case. What would be your request under the circumstances?
The city would ask that the matter be dismissed for the appellant's failure to appear.
Mr. Backos listed 11313 Monte Carlo Boulevard, number 202, Bonita Springs, Florida. Notice of this hearing was sent to 11313 Monte Carlo Boulevard, number 202, Bonita Springs, Florida, on May 22nd, 2024.
All right, so Mr. Pettit, do you have the time?
2:15 p.m.
My vote is city affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Very good. Unanimous, city affirmed non-appearance. Case number 32.
Case 32, hearing appeal ending 3249 3521 North 18th Street, Evelyn Smith.
Evelyn Smith or anyone connected to the property at 3521 North 18th Street. We have a name of Franklin Kennedy, or last names of Franklin and Kennedy. Anyone here in connection with that property?
I'm here in connection with the property. I'm a tenant of the property.
And who are you?
I'm Evelyn Smith's niece. I live in this house.
You're the tenant at the property and you filed the appeal?
Evelyn Smith filed the appeal. My aunt, she's the landlord. And she just called me on my other phone. She's having trouble logging into this Zoom. But I told her I was already
Hold
on
on,
here. I've
just
been
a,
on here.
hold on just a moment, please. Who's the city attorney on this case?
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles
Okay.
on behalf of the city for this matter.
Ms. Smith, do you have the ability to give us a video as well as your audio?
No, I can't because I can't. I for some reason I tried to call in and everything and it wouldn't work. It's not working. You know what I mean? I don't know. They keep telling me. I keep putting in 56207888632 and then it says that the meeting code is not working. So. And then when I tried to call in, it was busy.
Moment, please. Ms. Terrell, are you able to facilitate this?
So yeah, and that's why.
Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Ms. Smith?
That's why we wanted to request in person.
Ms. Smith?
We want to come in.
Ms. Smith, would you listen to me, please?
Yes. Uh-huh.
We're not holding hearings in person at the present time. We have an issue here because you're the tenant in the property, and whether or not we can hear this appeal.
No, I'm not, sir. I'm the owner. I'm the owner. You were talking to my aunt that's the tenant in the property. I am the owner.
You are the owner. Okay, then the question is, we're not able to see you, and unless Ms. Terrell, who is our IT person, can enable you to be viewed on the screen, we won't be able to hear this matter. The city's records indicate, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Skiles, that there's parties by the name of Franklin and Kennedy that are the legal owners of the property. So we would need to get this explained.
My mother is dead. Listen, my mother is dead. Patricia Franklin is my mother. My aunt is dead. Me and my brother Martin Rimbert and Evelyn Smith, we own the property. Okay, you could call down to the death certificate place. You could call down to the wills and they'll tell you that we own the property.
Ms. Smith, can I do two things?
Yes.
One, would you swear or affirm that you are Evelyn Smith?
Yes, I do. I swear that I'm Evelyn Smith. They know me. Everybody in that, and they know my voice real well.
I see. Okay, now, Ms. Skiles, under the circumstances, how would you like us to proceed on this matter?
We would raise a standing objection that Ms. Smith does not have standing to contest the NOVs or appeal the NOVs. Whether or not she is the rightful heir of the property, I am not sure. The deed is still in the name that you had mentioned, Mr. Pincus. I apologize. I have it in front of me. Yes. So
Let me tell you something.
Miss Smith, Miss Smith, Miss Smith, Miss Smith, Miss Smith.
This is our family out for over 75 years, and we ain't backing down. We want to have everybody, man, Sherelle Parker, everybody know that my family's been living in this house all their life. Okay? And ain't nothing but family in this house. We would never have no room in the house or nothing in the house.
Muted,
this
please,
house is
Mr. Wade.
Smith, Miss Smith, may I repeat something I said? Perhaps you weren't listening at the beginning of these hearings. Would you please listen to me? If you don't listen to me, in fact, I believe the administrator has just muted you. Only one person can speak at a time. I'm the chairman of these hearings, and I will determine who speaks when. And at the present moment, I am speaking. I asked Ms. Skiles to speak, and you've interrupted me. You've interrupted Ms. Skiles. And if you don't, we will mute you at all times, and we'll call you back when we've completed our discussion. But you've you've been rude and inconsiderate of this board and the other people who are present at the hearing. So at the present time, you're muted. Ms. Skiles, let me ask you to continue, please.
Yes, we were just, I was making a standing objection. Miss Smith, Evelyn Smith, the appellant, is not the current deed owner. The current deed owner, Patricia E. Franklin and Joan M. Kennedy. I understand based on what Miss Smith is saying that they may be deceased. However, that deed has not transferred. There's no updated deed in the system indicating that Miss Smith is the owner of the house. And she may be the rightful heir. She may be the person who the deed was transferred to, but until that new deed is recorded, until that moves through the process with the Register of Wills, at this time, Ms. Smith does not have standing to challenge the NOV. The NOV was issued to Patricia A. Franklin and Joan M. Kennedy. And at this point, Ms. Smith does not have standing to challenge that NOV at today's proceeding.
Well, the matter involves a certificate of occupancy. So the
That's
question would be whether the matter should be continued. It may be a question of filing an estate, and that could be time consuming. There may be other beneficiaries or heirs that could be involved. So the question is whether we should continue this case for, I would say, 6 months, or whether because Ms. Smith doesn't have standing, whether we should take a different action to dismiss the case. I don't think we should deny Ms. Smith. We shouldn't just throw the matter out. It still needs to be resolved. Mr. McSherry, I guess I'll call on you for some guidance here.
I mean, ultimately, I think it would probably be prudent to continue the matter to, again, allow the appellant here the opportunity to potentially transfer this property into their name. That would be my recommendation.
Should we give, I mean, Ms. Skiles clearly understands the issues involved. I don't know whether Ms. Smith does, but do you have an email address or a phone number, Ms. Skiles, by which you can contact Ms. Smith?
I did send Miss Smith an email yesterday. So she has my email. I sent her the exhibit packet yesterday.
Okay. All right. So let us unmute Ms. Smith and let me explain to her what we've decided to do. Ms. Smith, are you still here?
Hello?
Yes, Ms. Smith, did you hear my comments about why we muted you?
Yes.
Okay, so, and maybe you heard the discussion we had with the city solicitor, Ms. Skiles? And just answer my questions. Just,
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
just answer my questions when I raise them to you. Ms. Smith, did you hear the?
Yes, Your Honor. Listen, we have been down to the wills. We have been down to the wills, and we had got the we got the seal on the letter saying that we are the administrators and stuff like that. My brother got sick in COVID, and we haven't been, he just getting himself back together.
Ms. Smith, would you please stop for a moment? Would you stop talking for a moment, please? Will you listen to me? Can you listen to me? I hear what you've been saying. Can you listen to me? If you're going to continue to talk, we'll just continue the case, and you can call. Ms. Skiles has emailed you. She has contact information. If you want to listen to me, that's fine. If not, we'll just continue the case. Do you want to listen to me and not talk?
Yes.
Are you able to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so very good. What we understand is there is an issue as to the ownership of the property that you just said you were down to the Register of Wills office. There is an issue that you are not able, because you're not the legal owner, to file this appeal. Now, what you have the time and effort, what you have time and what we're giving you time to do by continuing this case is to resolve and address the issue of ownership. You can also discuss this issue with Ms. Skiles so that perhaps you will have some way to enable the city to identify that this matter can be resolved between you and the city before the case is next scheduled to be heard. So at this point, today, at this time, we are going to mark your case continued and that you should be in contact with Amy Skiles. She, I believe, has emailed you and you have her contact information. Do you understand what I just said? Yes or no?
Yes.
Fine. Case continued. Thank
How
you.
long? How
All
long,
right, thank
Next case.
how long were we continuing it for?
Mr. Chairman, 60 days?
I would say at least maybe 9. Ms. Skiles, what do you think?
You'll need more than 60 days, Mr. Pettit, to go to take steps to quiet title in either her name or her aunt's name or whoever the heirs are. So that's
Okay.
going to take some time.
This could be quite a period of time. Ms.
At least
Skiles,
120 days, maybe more.
you're muted, Ms. Skiles.
I would ask to keep it as close to 120 as possible. There is an associated intent to cease at this property that the department so I don't want to delay it too much.
All right, 120, that ought to be enough for them to present information to you to at least provide some clarity, I believe. 120 days or thereabouts. Okay, Mr. Wade?
Got it.
Very good. Next matter, please.
Are we just calling the regular list now, or are we still?
Just a moment, just a moment.
You still have 3.
Do I have any more items that, yes, I do. Let me just see. I don't think we actually called case number 42. We were
Mr.
gonna
Cohen was just
call
in a
that-
breakout room with them.
We were going to call
Uh-huh.
that in the order of cases. I believe that's Mr. Cohen's case.
That's correct. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We were just waiting for, I spoke to a Lisa in the breakout room who is affiliated with YP2 Tire Shop. I'm not sure how.
All right, so all right, so if there's someone here on that case, let's go to case number 44, where we have an LLC issue.
Okay.
All right,
Case number 44. Hearing appeal ending 3346, 1747 South Conestoga, Mussey, Araya, doing business as Nyla Investments LLC.
is anyone
I'm here.
present on case?
Yes, I am.
All right, who are you, sir?
I am Muse Araya. I represent the LLC, and I'm also the owner of the LLC, which owns the property.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Do we have counsel from the city on this case?
Yes, Caitlin Carmody on behalf of the city.
Okay, what is the relationship of Nyala, Nyala Investments LLC to the property at 1747 South Conestoga Street? Mr. Musi.
It's owned under an LLC. So it's the property owner. Nyala Investment is the property owner listed. And I am the sole member of Nyala Investments.
Who was the violation issued to, Ms. Carmody?
Let me just double check the notice of violation. It was issued to Nyala Investments LLC.
As the owner of the property.
Correct.
So, Mr. Musi, I don't know if you read carefully the violation notice and the appeal notice that you received for today's hearing. Both of them say if the party that was named is a corporate entity, they're required to have legal counsel. But that's clearly written both on the violation notice and on the notice for today's hearing. Have you consulted with legal counsel?
No, I have not. The reason being is this is a $300 fine for the condition of the property, which the grass it had grown. I have taken care of that issue.
Mr. Musi, it doesn't matter what the violation notice is for. You've appealed it, and the only party who can, you can be present at the hearing, but you're required to have legal counsel. So you're welcome to contact Ms. Carmody and see if you can resolve the matter administratively with her without legal counsel. But if you want to have a hearing on the violation notice or whether that violation notice was properly issued, you are required to have counsel. Do you understand? Did you understand me?
Yeah, I do understand, but me
Do
being
you have
the
do you have contact information for Ms. Carmody?
I believe I do. I do have her email address.
Yes,
Well,
we've
fine.
emailed previously.
All right, so you need to be in contact with Ms. Carmody. We cannot hear this case today because you don't have legal counsel. Now, perhaps you can resolve it with Ms. Carmody before the matter is next scheduled for a hearing. Okay?
Okay.
We'll mark it continued and will be noted in the file that you need legal counsel.
Okay. Do we have a date set now, or
No, you'll get a notice for the next hearing date.
okay?
Okay? All right, Ms. Carmody?
Thank you.
All right, so that case number 45, we have an issue here as well. Who represents the city on case number 45?
Good afternoon, Chairman Pincus, Kristen Patchell for the city.
Mr. Wade, would you call case number 45?
Case 45, hearing appeal ending 3380, 1503 South 12th Street, Angelo Messi.
Case number 45, 1503 South 12th Street, Angelo.
Yes.
Mickey, are you present, sir?
Yes, sir, I'm president.
Chairman Woodson, if I may.
Yeah, but you might want to call me Chairman Pincus.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong board member. I did have this matter was moot complied. I'm not sure if that was addressed at the original statusing of the list.
I do not have a note that it was marked moot complied. It is moot complied, case number 45. I did not hear that, Mike. But if it is, I'll mark it now as moot complied, case number 45. Did you hear that? I'm sorry that you had to wait this long. If you were on the call, Mr. Musa,
Yes.
I'm not going to butcher your last name. So
That's right. Okay, just mute complied then, that's fine?
That's correct. It's been resolved.
Yes, it has been resolved.
Very good. Okay.
All right,
And
thank you.
yes, sir. And Mr. Roberts, I see you're still on the screen. You're welcome to continue listening, but your matter has been continued, I believe, so that you no longer need to be present. Now, do we go back to the list, Mr. Wade?
I think there was something preliminary with case 42 that we could try and get that out of the way.
Very good. That's Mr. Cohen, I believe.
Case 42, hearing appeal ending 3329, 4864 Lancaster Ave. David Williams doing business as YP2 Tire Shop.
Good afternoon again, members of the board.
Okay, I hear you, Mr. Cohen.
Is there a representative for
Good
YP2
afternoon.
Tires? Okay.
Is that the individual named Lisa?
Yes, that would be me, Lisa Goodman.
Do you have a visual ability?
I think the camera is not working right now. I didn't have audio at one point, but I'll try. But it may hold us up a couple minutes.
We are hearing you, and I guess if Mr. Cohen is able to proceed and there's a representation, because we seem to have trouble with appellants appearing on camera today. But if you have an administrative resolution, we're happy to hear that.
Well, it's my understanding that the appellant wants to request a continuance. Since the appellant, we now have determined, is YP2 Tire Shop Incorporated, YP2 will need an attorney for the next hearing date.
And I note that this is an intent to cease. And again, there's an issue as to the violations versus the timeliness of the appeal on the violation notices versus the timeliness on the appeal to the intent to cease, and whether we have a safety condition or whether the cease is in effect at the present time.
Well, one of the questions I was going to ask, or rather a point I was going to make, is to make sure that YP2 is not blocking the sidewalk with piles of tires. That is a potential safety issue, not only because the kids walking to and from school are now walking in the road and not on the sidewalk, but tires obviously are flammable, and we don't want flammable items blocking a sidewalk.
Is there an inspector here on this matter, Mr. Cohen?
I believe we still have Inspector Conaway here. He was here earlier. Well, let me just double check. Yes, he is here.
Mr. Conaway?
Yes.
Conaway, can I ask you to identify yourself and raise your right hand?
Brian Conaway, license inspection.
You're familiar with this matter, Mr. Conaway?
I am.
We've been asked to, by agreement, to continue the case, but if we have a hazardous condition, if you've inspected it recently, perhaps we need to consider whether or not to hear the matter today.
That's fine. As I discussed with Mr. Cohen, my concern would be for the tires on the exterior on across the street. But as of the last couple of inspections, there has been no tire storage there.
So under the circumstances, you don't believe there's a serious hazardous condition at the time, and it would be acceptable to continue the matter for a short period of time?
I'm in agreement with continuance, yes.
Mr. Cohen?
I agree. My only concern would be that the appellant not move the tires back onto the sidewalk. That as of this hearing, the appellant is on notice. Tires do not belong on the sidewalk.
All right, so we'll ask Mr. Wade to schedule this at the next available date, and that a counsel and Lisa, I don't know I didn't hear your last name.
Goodman.
Goodman, that you understand that you're required as an LLU, not you, but the operator of the property, YP2 Tire Shop, is a limited liability company or corporation and must have legal counsel present when this matter is next scheduled for a hearing, or your counsel can try to resolve it beforehand with Mr. Cohen, and you have his contact information.
Understood, yes.
Very good. All right, Mr. Cohen.
Thank you very much, members of the board.
We'll continue case number 42.
Am I free to leave?
You're free to leave. Yes, Ms. Goodman.
There was a request for case number 25.
Case number 25 to be heard at this point. Is that what you're? Okay, as we can proceed with that one.
Good afternoon again, members of the board. This is Jeffrey Cohen for the city of Philadelphia. This was a request because my inspector needs to leave by 4 p.m.
This is
okay.
This is case number 25, hearing appeal ending 3192, 2700 South 16th Street, Robert Petrol. If you could just give me one moment, I want to look something. I might have gotten a correspondence from him. Jeff, have you been in contact with with the appellant?
No, I've heard nothing from Mr. Petrol.
Okay.
I have a note, the note on our list says that he filed, that it was a late appeal and it was granted. That's what my note says.
I had
Well,
I had a different note.
I was actually going to say the city does want to at least raise the issue of timeliness. There hasn't been any in the late appeal request, and in the appeal itself, there was no proof that it was submitted timely in June. There was just the request written, late appeal request claiming that he attempted to submit it without any proof of an actual submission.
Well, we don't have Mr. Petrol present. He was,
That's correct.
This appeal, just give me 1 second. Mr. Petrol emailed board's administration to withdraw the appeal on Wednesday, June 26th.
On Wednesday, June 26th.
Yes. My apologies if that
No,
wasn't covered.
That's quite all right. It's been corrected here and the matter has been withdrawn, so I think that puts the matter to
We'll mark
rest.
it withdrawn, case number 26. And the inspector.
Case
if he's-
25, case number 25.
I'm sorry, case number 25, 2700 South 16th Street, Robert Petrol is noted as withdrawn. An inspector, I'm not sure who it is, but you're free to leave.
I don't know if Inspector Tolbert has other cases that need to be
Thank
called,
you.
but I
Okay.
take a
I
moment
just-
just to double check. However, I don't have any more cases myself. If it pleases the board, may I please be excused after this?
Certainly, you're excused. I believe we have 3 cases yet to hear.
There was a case.
Thank you, members of the board.
A request for case number 33. I believe a settlement was reached. Case 33, hearing appeal ending 3254, 1435 South 54th Street. Susan Dean.
Good afternoon, Acting Chairman Pincus. This is Kristen Patchell for the City of Philadelphia. I spoke with Ms. Dean in a breakout room earlier today during the preliminary matters. We did reach a settlement agreement. This is going to be a city affirm with a 60-day stay of enforcement. I am just waiting for Ms. Dean to sign the agreement I sent her, and then I will send it to the board.
Are you comfortable or confident that you can that we should make this an agreement, or should we continue it? You said you hadn't received the agreement.
So I just sent it to her about 10 minutes ago. I'm confident that she'll get it back to me.
Okay, then case number 33, 1435 South 54th Street, Susan Dean. We'll mark this as settled with a city affirmed a 60-day stay of enforcement.
Thank you.
I believe that leaves 2 cases that I see that have yet to be called. Mr. Wade.
Case number 10, hearing appeal ending 2968, 216 Grape Street, Mildred Jenkins.
We have city council.
Yes, Caitlin Carmody on behalf of the city.
Mildred Jenkins, is someone here, is Mildred Jenkins or someone connected with the property at 216 Grape Street present? I do not hear a response, Ms. Carmody.
Mildred Jenkins listed 216 Grape Street as their address. Notice of this hearing was sent to 216 Grape Street on May 30th, 2024.
Under the circumstances, what would you ask the board to do, Ms. Carmody?
Seeing no one present for this matter, the city would request a holding of city affirmed for non-appearance.
Mr. Pettit, could you tell us the time, please?
2:46 p.m.
My vote is, it's 2:46 p.m. My vote is city affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
Very good. City affirmed for non-appearance 6-0. Next case, Mr. Wade.
Case number 24, hearing appeal ending 3191. 2535 South 7th Street, Didi Chen.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Leonard F. Reuter for the city of Philadelphia.
Didi Chen or someone connected to the property at 2535 South 7th Street. We have some city inspectors, but is Didi Chen or anyone connected to the property at 2535 South 7th Street present? I do not hear a response, Mr. Reuter.
Thank you. Based upon the appellant's failure to appear, the city would be asking that the matter be dismissed or marked city affirmed for the appellant's failure to appear.
Didi Chen listed 525 Russell Mill Road in Swedesboro, New Jersey as the appellant's address. Notice of this hearing was sent to 525 Russell Mill Road, Swedesboro, New Jersey on May 22nd, 2024.
Very good. What time do you have, Mr. Pettit?
2:48 p.m.
All right, we'll vote. My vote is city affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed, non-appearance.
Mr. Wade, as far as I'm able to determine, that completes the list of cases scheduled for today.
Yep. Correct.
Mr. Chair, can I double check on 2 that I have blank?
Well, yeah, let's in the meantime, let council go and various city inspectors who have been kind enough to be with us this afternoon. We can dismiss those parties and we'll go over what
No, I just want to make sure that I have it right. And I'm
correct.
looking at
That's fine.
Case number 44.
Case number 44 is continued.
Continued. Okay, and the other one was case number 7.
Case number 7 is moot.
Thank you. That was my only question.
Very good. Anyone else with a question, or we'll call today's hearings to an end?
Thank you. Everyone have a happy holiday.
You too.
Enjoy the holiday, everyone. Take care.
Happy holidays.